Hello, and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern. And lest we forget it, the Tenkar's Tavern Discord server. Now, today is going to be a news day. Some not so happy to share, but necessary, and one kind of exciting. But we'll get the hard news first. Over at the Ten Cars Tavern Discord server, one of our more active members participated in the chats. A lot of people were having direct conversations with him. Lucas Purrier. Hope I'm pronouncing that last name right. Also known on the Discord server as Sketchbook LP, has passed, and it's a real damn shame. From my interactions with Lucas, and I'll be honest with you, I knew him as Sketchbook. A lot of times when you interact with people online in communities, you know them by their tags, by their nicknames, by their handles, by their alts, however you want to call it, and that's how I knew Lucas. Sadly, I didn't know Lucas's first name until last night when I heard that he'd passed. Now, it was I heard this through somebody who PM'd me on Discord, and we didn't have facts and we didn't have details. We didn't even have confirmation. It was third-hand knowledge that was being passed on. Well, now we have first-hand knowledge. So, Lucas lives in the area of Lubbock, Texas, and at Mad Hatter's House of Games, 1509 Texas Avenue, on Monday, October 21st, from 2 to 4 Central, that's p.m. They are hosting a memorial for Lucas. If you are in the area, if you're a member of the Taverns community, whether it's Tavern Chat here on a podcast, or Discord, or Facebook, or you read the blog, it's times like this that you realize just how much that community means to you. It really comes into play when events like this happen. Again, I knew Lucas's Sketchbook, and sadly, I got to know him a little bit better now that he's no longer with us. The Tavern's Discord community will be lessened by his absence. He was active. He certainly chatted a lot. So there's a GoFundMe. If you go to tencarstavern.com, go to the blog, there is a link to the GoFundMe. There's also a link to the memorial details, memorial's casual dress, wear your fantasy t-shirt, your comic book related t-shirt, stuff that Lucas would have enjoyed. That is the rough part of the news. Now we're gonna move on. Actually, let me pause for a sec and gather my thoughts, and then we'll come up and introduce the not so down side of the news, I guess. First start for me, so I treat it like a new podcast. Welcome back to the Tavern Chat podcast. So the other half of this episode, this is actually pretty interesting. Presses Intermedia, otherwise known as Pie Games. I always pronounce it Pig Games, but it really isn't Pig Games. Is now the official home of classic We Warriors publications. I kid you not. If you are somebody who's into the history of gaming, We Warriors probably introduced us to the first adventure for D&D. Palace of the Vampire Queen. That was back in 1976. Well, yes, it was official. Well, here's the official announcement. Presses Intermedia is pleased to announce that it has acquired the intellectual property rights to WeWarriors and its products. Founded in 1975, WeWarriors produced not only what is believed to be the first character sheet for Dungeons & Dragons, but also the first standalone adventure. WeWarriors later went on to produce 2 more adventures, game accessories, and a number of small tabletop games, including the Embattled Trek and Labyrinthine. Classic reprints of most of the product line are expected in both PDF and print formats, as are further development and new additions in the future. More information on WeWarriors products can be found at the Presses Intermedia website, which, by the way, is www.piggames. See, I'm about to say Pig Games. P-I games.net. A classic reprint of The Vanquished Foe, a mini board game, is now available in PDF and printed formats. With a low price tag, you no longer need to spend a fortune to find a rare original of this early dungeon-style game. As a vintage game collector, I'm delighted to be able to bring back these largely forgotten gems, says Brett M. Bernstein. Now, Brett, forgive me, I always think of the Bernstein Bears when I see a name. These games and modules were created in a time devoid of today's plethora of advanced software and print services. It is a testament to the creative spirit. So, that, my friends, is very interesting, very exciting. That's stuff that has not been reprinted in the original format, I don't think. I'm not sure if ever. I'm not going to be that bold. But certainly, it's going to be putting stuff that's usually very collectible, if you want to even find it, into the hands of those that are worried less about the collector's value and more about the history of gaming. And I find that very exciting. I will include a link to the announcement, as well as a link to the Tavern's post from earlier today on the passing of Lucas, and I will also include a link to the GoFundMe for those that want to help with the expenses incurred. All right, folks. Hope you didn't take this as too much of a downer. It is what it is. This is death, sadly, is part of life. And it's probably the one aspect of life that we wish we had more control over, and we really, in the end, have much less control over it than we would ever want to admit. God bless Lucas. God bless his family, friends. Folks, as always, thank you for listening. If you can send some prayers to Lucas's family, I'm sure that'll be appreciated. Roll your dice well, and I will talk with you all tomorrow. Later, folks.